Hi and hello, heavy metal fans of Portland. I hope all is well with you wherever you are in the world today, and welcome. This is the Portland Metal Show, and with me tonight is Mike Lewis, the photographer, who at this point in time has just over 16 years of experience doing this photography business, taking photos of heavy metal bands and other musical acts in the flesh at the concerts here in Portland, Oregon, and even other places as well. And so I think this is going to be a really interesting interview to dig into what it's like doing his job, how it works, and all the cool experiences that he's had along the way, which are many, many experiences. So, with that, Mike Lewis, how do you do?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good so far, not bad at all. Um, I was curious
We
to know.
we should mention, by the way, you and I have known each other for a while. So
That's right. That's right. We have known each other for some time now, and um, it's always interesting because I know that you always get your press pass and you always have special access to the photo pit at the front of the room. So you'll usually be hanging out either on the sidelines. So I
yep.
can always find you. I'm always looking around to see if I can find you on the sidelines. And of course, you always have your gear with you as well. So that in a certain way can be a hindrance because you can't mix it up in the heart of the crowd. You don't tend to get into the actual density of the audience because of your equipment. But
Right.
it's still cool that you get that privilege of having that special up close and personal access that nobody gets to have. Um, and I mean, not only that, but the I'm sure that the musicians and the talent on stage are hamming it up for the photographer at the moment too. So you're getting your best spots, right?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that actually you get them hamming it up more when they see. Sorry, I've had a cold.
That's all right.
When they see a small child in a photo pit.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, because they're just. I imagine they're probably stoked that someone's interested in doing this, right?
Yeah. Well, and if anybody's seen me in a pit, there is moments where I have my daughter with me. She's 14 now, but when she was little,
Yeah, yeah.
you'd get a lot of people that would notice her, and going up and posing, throwing the horns at her, stuff like that.
That's rad, man. Yeah, that's actually really cool. In a certain way, it's like you're I know that you're teaching her how to do what you do so she could carry the torch forward, but it is kind of cool that that they're stoked that she's there and they're giving her the extra cool pictures to take.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. It's like kind of like a trick up your sleeve, if you will, like a good way to get the best picture. All right, I'm gonna have my daughter next to me for this one.
that's actually been a running joke in the pit with the photographers that have been doing this a while. It's hey, stick close to Sydney.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Totally, totally. Um, and I definitely want to talk about your daughter too, because I know recently, like within the last year, there was a really cool story that she got to have for her
Yeah,
in her personal experience doing what you do.
yeah,
And I definitely want to get into that and share that with the audience because that is definitely not something you want to like not talk about. Like that is basically that's almost how I would start literally every single conversation for the rest of my life if I got to do what she did. Like seriously, like
yeah. It
I would
was a
never let
pretty
it
cool.
go.
Yeah.
People would be like, "Okay, here we go again. He's saying it again." um, okay, but before we get there, I would like to know what age were you, and what was your experience when you first discovered heavy metal music? What song was it? What band was it? Where were you? What was that like for you? I always find this interesting because it's always different for everyone.
So I remember probably before I was even 10, my cousin was really into Kiss, if we want to consider Kiss metal.
I think it works.
So there was that. But I'm gonna say, and I'm older than you are, it would have been sometime in the early 80s when Quiet Riot released Come On Feel the Noise, and it was all over the radio. And then there was Motley Crue and there was Rat. So there was that whole wave of hair metal that was starting. But then, I kind of started digging underground and needed some other stuff and found Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth. And Then I just kept digging and I continued to dig. And, now I'm listening to black metal bands that people don't know who they are and it scares the hell out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always weary when I talk about black metal with normies because, who knows what the hell they're going to think. But like, it's just like Ozzy says, it's just music, man. But, like, I guess what I would ask is like, since your introduction into heavy metal seems to have been like the onset of hair metal and stuff like that, was it that it wasn't heavy enough for you and you were just like finding yourself sort of looking for something heavier and heavier and heavier? Is that how it went for you?
Um, that was part of it. Also, I think as things became more mainstream and more people were listening to them, I didn't want to be part of that crowd, so I was looking for something that no one else was listening to.
Right, right. I could get down with that. I definitely know what you mean. There's a little bit of, I guess I hate to say the word, but is a little bit of hipsterness to it because you kind of want to like have that niche band that nobody else knows about. That's really
Yeah,
cool. You know,
yeah, exactly.
I kind of am. I'm there with you, man, because when I first got into heavy metal, I did think that radio music was lame, and I did find it kind of cheesy and a little cliche that everybody seemed to enjoy what was poppy and all the stuff of the time. I was just like, well, this is all here today, gone tomorrow kind of stuff, and whatever. People are gonna like what they're gonna like, but I always thought, man, heavy metal is so special. It's so unique and interesting, and there's so many different ways you can go. He goes, there's so much cool stuff in this,
Well, it's
which other
evolved a
music.
lot since when I started listening to it, but I also remember being told, that bands like, let's say Metallica, they sucked and they would never amount to anything.
That's got
Uh-huh.
you are definitely older than me, so you got to experience them on their rise, which is
Yeah,
not my
exactly.
experience with them. So that would be interesting to imagine that being what was said of them in the culture at the time. Um,
Now we're talking about a metal band that's like, one of the biggest metal bands on the face of the planet.
Yeah, and at this point, and even though it's almost heresy to say, but a little overdone in my opinion. It's like kind of like too much. Like Metallica's everywhere. So and to me, and I have nothing against Metallica. I mean, I like Metallica as much as the next guy, but for me, they are not nearly heavy enough for my liking. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's very tame metal at this point for me. But yeah, so that's interesting. So you kind of get into heavy metal, and I do know that you have some uh, musical talent. You did pick up a guitar at some point. You did learn some
Yep.
music, and this is foggy for me. But you were in some bands at different points of your life, correct?
Yeah, so I didn't actually play guitar. I was a vocalist in a grindcore band.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
I was a guitarist in an industrial band. I also did keyboard programming and sampling and stuff.
Okay, so at an early, did you do that when you were a teenager or in your
Yeah,
20s?
teenager, stuff like that. And, learning guitar. I think I started probably when I was 16 or 17, and I spent an entire summer pretty much just locked in my room playing guitar the whole time.
And so it's like it began by listening to music and then it started to form into this like you definitely wanted to make it a part of your life in some way and more than just a listener.
Yeah, I just ended up trading instruments for a camera, which wasn't intended.
Yeah, and so with that, when did you pick up a camera? When was your first introduction into photography and how did that click with you, so to speak?
So I don't think we've ever really talked about this. I went into this having zero background at all. When my wife and I got married, she had to fight me to get a camera because I'm like, what do we need a camera for? We're never going to use the camera. That's stupid. Why would we buy that? And so we finally bought a little point and shoot, and like I just randomly took pictures of like the cats doing stupid things.
Hmm.
And then when we went to Japan, my dad had let me use his video camera, but it also took pictures, and I'd taken a few pictures with it here and there. After that, I bought a camera when, if anybody remembers Circuit City was
Hmm.
closing, and so went there and I bought. It was a Sony. HDR SR10, which is a video camera, but it also does photos. And so our next trip to Japan, I took that, and I found I was taking more pictures than video. I wasn't very good at it, but I was doing a lot more pictures. And, I just kept kind of doing things that way from there. Eventually I had my own website. One of the publicists at Nuclear Blast had got a hold of me and asked me if I wanted to go to the Cataclysm show and review it, because I'd been doing music reviews. I'm like, yeah, that can't be much different than, doing a music review. And he's like, okay, do you need a ticket or do you need to take a photo pass? And I emailed back and I asked him, what's a photo pass? Because I had no idea. And he said, oh, if I give you a photo pass, you can take a camera and take photos. And instead of saying, dude, I don't know anything about photography, I said, yeah, cool, I'll take a photo pass.
Yeah.
And I look back now and I'm like, God, why did they keep giving me photo passes? I was horrible.
Well, dude, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it, man. They're getting
It was
you're getting
beyond
your photo
broken. Like,
passes. That's awesome, though. But it's funny when you mentioned Circuit City. There's an Odorous Urungus Guar Circuit City commercial, dude. You got to look it up. It's a
I'll have to find
legitimate
that.
commercial. It's real. I couldn't believe it when I saw it online, but I'm like, Guar did a commercial for Circuit City at some time in the 90s or something. It's just totally crazy. I want to say they were advertising their Ragnarok album, I think, and so they were just doing a collaboration with Circuit City to try to sell the album. Totally, totally random and weird, but that's the first thing I thought of when you said that.
That sounds like something Guar would do.
Yeah, it's just so weird, and of course, yeah, sadly, Circuit City's gone, but um, it is what it is, and so okay.
By the way, so sorry to
Oh, that's all right.
send you. I was actually supposed to interview Guar at one point many years ago.
Dude, legend. That would have been epic.
There's only one reason I turned it down, and it would have been the same tour they lost a guitar player on.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
that
happened. That happened I think it was about a week before they played Portland, and I emailed the publicist and I said, I can't do this. I said, with what's happened, I said, this wouldn't be right. They don't have time for my stupid questions. Just let the band have time for the band. And I, stepped away.
Yeah. Not only that, but the way I would approach it, I mean, similarly to you, I would have all those same thoughts too. But I guess what I would think is like doing an interview after something like that happens to a band. I feel like somebody who's like more established in music should be conducting this interview with the band, maybe somebody that the world is more familiar with, because not to say you're like a no name, but like that's not your forte is to do interviews with bands, right? So it's not like if you were to do that interview, that would have been a certain moment for the band, and a lot of people would have been flocking to you, and you probably would feel a little over your head a bit with the interview.
No, I would have.
Yeah, so that would definitely make me feel intimidated.
Well, and also since it was just so soon after it happened, it just didn't feel right.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. That too, absolutely, that's what I mean. And who knows what the band is thinking and feeling at that time. So, yeah.
Well, were you at that show?
Yes, I was. That's one of my like historical moments of Guar concerts I've been to.
And you remember them coming back on stage without costumes, saying they usually played an encore, but they weren't going to do that, and they just left his guitar and just said, I want you guys to think about what we lost, and he just walked off.
Yeah, dude. I actually, he was, Dave Brockie came out in nothing but a loincloth, and you could see his whole, everything was on display, man. I remember I was standing maybe about 5 feet away from the stage, and he was putting his Corey Smoot's guitar down for the audience to touch. And he was like, kind of being like, don't fucking do anything with it. Don't do anything, but like he was a little bit out of it, probably really drunk or something. And those guys, whoever was up front, got to touch his guitar, and then he put it on the stage in the center of the stage for everybody to see. And man, that was such an emotional concert. It was incredible. I remember listening to Balsack playing the lead, the solos and stuff to the best of his ability and trying to improvise on the spot because he's not trained to play those parts of the
Yeah,
songs, so they sounded okay, but definitely broken and wrong, but still cool to hear that. I guess just for me, it was like a very, for me, like, wow, I can't believe I got to have this experience with this band at this time, even though it's a tragic moment. For me, being as big of a fan of Guar as I am, was like a special moment for sure, dude. It was incredible.
that
Um,
might have actually been the first time I had a photo pass for him too.
and so you do have pictures of that event. Oh, and
I
wait a
do.
minute, that's right. Because you had those pictures, correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody published your pictures of that show, right?
If they did, I'm not aware of it.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I
Yeah,
know there's a couple that I have that are close up of Dave that if you look, I mean, even with the mask, you can see it looks like I mean, obviously there's a lot of sorrow in there.
yeah, man. Yeah, I had at the time I had my original heavy metal channel, and I had brought my camera in. 'Cause I don't remember the name of the device that I used to use, but it was a handheld little camera. And what I used to do was just record like short snippets of the show, but mostly it was all about the party before, during, and after. And so
Right.
um, that show, even though I posted just like a short, like 4 minute video, um, that video got something along the lines of like over 1,000 views because somebody else had posted a video of them taking off their masks and stuff, and they
Hmm.
some publisher, maybe it was Metal Injection, maybe it was something, I don't know, they had published that video in their article, and so that took the world by storm because everybody wanted to see what happened. And because I had my video, it was like fed in the feed, like right next to, like, if you like this video, you should check out this one. So
Yeah.
my video got like a ton more views because of that than it normally ever would have. Um, anyways, the point is that that night was definitely in the headlines, that show.
Yeah.
So um, okay, so when would you say? So I know that you have a logbook of all of the shows that you've ever done,
Yep. You've
and
seen it. I know.
so that began for you back in 2010. Um, and from then till now, are there any like standout moments that you have that you captured on camera, things that you've seen that just you can only experience in this like once in a lifetime kind of situation where it's like, I can't believe I got this?
So, like, as far as just shows,
Just, yeah, various shows or anything interesting and unique that you may have picked up, something cool. I definitely know you
well,
got backstage with Behemoth, and you've had a lot of different
no.
interactions. Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
well, I guess I did do an interview with Orion from Behemoth before I was even doing photography.
Okay.
I would say on the photo side of things, Metallica was really a big one because I never thought I would get approved for that. Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a huge band. There's no way I'm going to get approved. And then when I got the email, I remember I read it, it said I was approved, but then I read it again to make sure I wasn't just putting things in my head and making things up. And then I read it a third time. It's like, oh my god, I'm actually doing this. And then on the way to Seattle, like I hit Tacoma, and I'm trying to mentally talk my way out of it. I'm like, traffic's getting really bad. I should just turn around and just go home. But no, I made it up there. And I don't know why I was trying to sabotage myself.
Yeah, yeah. I find that fascinating that you are not convinced that you got the good news, because I actually am the same way. I had somebody once attempted to give me a fake scratch it ticket with a lottery win, like a fake winning lottery ticket,
Uh,
and it didn't really work because even though I didn't know it was a fake ticket, I had looked at it. I'm like, it says I won, but that's impossible because I know I didn't win the lottery. Give me a break, right? It's not possible that I won. It turns out I didn't actually win the lottery, but I already knew there's no way. It's impossible that this is happening right now. So something is wrong. I could not have won the lottery. And then after I like asked my friend, like, am I looking at this right? It says that I won the lottery here. It says I won the game. And they're like, I don't know, man. And then somebody's like, it's fake. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it was something was wrong with this. There's no way I could have won.
And then, as you know, there's another really big one that happened.
Oh yeah,
That wasn't really me.
What was that?
The one for my daughter.
Oh, that's right. Okay, great. Please take the floor. Let's start from the beginning. How this all transpired, because it really is incredible.
Now, do we want to go all the way back to her little journey?
Yeah, I think that just to really put it all together, I think it should. Yeah, I'll let you explain to the audience what happened.
Well, she always wanted to go to shows with me, and this was when she was really young. Actually, I remember going to see. I had a pass for 1349 at the. I want to say it was called the Raven then, but I don't know because I swear to God they changed the name of that venue every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So she's upset. She's crying. I want to go to the show. I want to go see black metal. And I'm like, you can't go. It's a bummer. And she kept asking, and I thought she just wanted to go to a concert. Was the whole deal. And she told me, well, no, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, well, wait, you want to get in a photo pit? And she'd been playing with the cell phone cameras and stuff for a while. But I started letting her play with one of my old cameras just to see what she could do with it. And I managed to get Oregon Music News allowed her to be a photographer for them. First, they were against it, and then they said, you know what? It actually might be kind of cool to have a kid photographer. So at 7 years old, she joined me in the photo pit for the Blues Festival. Now we were only there for one or two bands because, again, she's 7 and she's hot and she's tired and she wants to go home and have a nap and she wants mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So, we leave. Then I found out later that night she's listening to stuff on her iPad or her iPod. She apparently at that time was really into Larkin Poe, who was the headliner that night, and I knew that, and I said, you like this band? And she said, yeah. And I said, they were the headliners tonight. And then she cried.
Oh.
But she kept getting approved by different publicists for shows. And, at a young age, she had a bucket list, which I thought was funny. I'm like, you're like 8. You don't need to have a bucket list. So Megadeth is on her bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
So we get approved for the show that was back in, was that 2023, I think? 2024, maybe. Up in Auburn. We make the trip up. I have to work the next day, so we're there. We shoot our 3. We're out. I get the photos done. I send them to the publicist. Don't think much of it, and I've got a little write up, that I do for Sydney about her experience and everything. And a couple weeks later, I get a text from the publicist, and she said, "Hey, can you call me?" Now, the only time I'm going to get a text from a publicist is if there's a show that night and something happened last minute, like a cancellation or some type of other big change, and I don't have a show that night. And usually the other reason is if you really, really, really screwed up somewhere. And so now I'm worried. So I call her and she said, "Hey, just want to let you know I sent your stuff over to Megadeth. Dave sent me an email about 5 or 10 minutes later. I don't ever get emails from Dave that often." And I'm thinking, oh God, we screwed up. And she said, "So Dave wants you to know that he thinks it's really cool that you're taking your daughter into a pit at such a young age. He thinks that for as young as she is, because she was 12 then, he said that he thinks her photos are really good. He's sorry that you guys had to leave the show early. The band wants to fly you out to another show." And I'm like, okay. And she's telling me you should go to Cleveland. I'm like, okay. And now my daughter's at her tutoring, so I can't talk to her about this at this point. And she said, "Now also, Dave knows your daughter's probably never done this before, but he wants to know if she would want to do some promo photos of the band when you guys are there." And again, she's at tutoring. I can't ask her. And I just said, yes, she can do that.
Yeah, dude, yes. Oh my God,
So,
that's insane, incredible.
so yeah, we got flown out to Cleveland, stayed at a really nice hotel that was actually right across from the where the Brown Stadium is. Like we could look right across and see it.
Wow.
Got to the venue early, got to meet the band. My daughter did promo photos of Megadeth. She also did some photos of All That Remains because they were the opener.
Okay, killer, man. You know, when you said the Browns, I wondered, am I supposed to be excited or am I supposed to be sad about that? I don't know. The Browns are historically like one of the worst football teams in the league.
Well, see so when we were there, there was the game. I remember it was the Browns versus the Giants. So there were tons of people that were there for this game, like tons of people from like New York and other part. Yeah, so it was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're here for the game?" I'm like, "What game?" Because I'm not even into sports. I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Okay,
You
yeah.
know, if it would have been like if WrestleMania would have been there, then I probably would have been, yeah, that's not why we're here, but we would go.
Oh, wrestling has been one of my favorite sort of like I tune in from time to time just for funsies to catch up a little bit, and then I tune out and then I tune back in.
I do the same.
I'm always seeing I don't know, my feed is chock full of like historical moments of wrestling and stuff like this that one time when Hulk Hogan like whatever, and you just I watch like a quick 1 minute video of whatever happened. That's mostly what I find amusing about wrestling these days. But um, so your daughter, okay, so when you do finally give her the information that she's going to have this experience, that the band is offering to pay for this plane ride to Ohio, that you guys get to have this experience and the hotel, the photo shoot, all this. Just explain what that was like for you to witness that for her, to see
I
like
think
what was it like.
I think I was more excited about it than she was because I think for her it didn't really sink in.
Mm-hmm.
It took her a long time to even understand that, not everybody gets to do photography like this. I remember we went to One OK Rock. It was like the first time the second time I'd shot him. And I got an extra ticket from my wife because, my wife's from Japan. One OK Rock's from Japan. So it's a huge deal. And I have a ticket for Sydney. And I'm getting ready to go in the pit. And I tell Sydney, I'm like, bye. And she's like, okay, bye. And then I hear these little feet hit the floor at the Crystal Ballroom. And I'm like, wait. And I turn around. I'm like, where are you going? She's like, well, I'm coming with you. And she's looking at her. She's like, where's my camera? And I said, your camera's at home. I don't know this publicist that well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how are you going to get a photo pass anyway? She looks around and sees a bouncer. Him. And I said, he is not going to give you a photo pass. You've got to stay here.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think it really registered with her at first. And I'm trying to explain to her, in the I told her eventually, I said, look, the only step up with this type of metal would be if we were going and being flown out by Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
I said
Mm-hmm.
Megadeth's like the next step below that. I said this is really a huge deal.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
well, and then what I had her do, because I wanted to make a good impression, and I thought about it, and we went out and I had her buy, or we bought thank you cards, and I had her fill out thank you cards for every one of the band members. We brought extra with us, so like she filled one out for the tour manager and somebody else. And then we were there like a week after Dave's birthday, so I had her take out a birthday card and sign that and give it to him.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then we got there and she got really shy and hid behind me.
I gotta say though, she's naturally shy. From the
Yeah,
times I've talked to her, I can tell she's kind of shy, and that's just her personality. But definitely, if she decided to make this more of her like central hobby or potentially even say career or artistic endeavor, whatever you want to call it, this is such a great like foundation to get
yeah,
started from, that she has that in her um what do you call it,
portfolio.
a portfolio, that this she's been able to do this. And wow, man, that is so incredible. And just she'll
Especially at
always have
12.
that. I know. And so like just imagine if she decided to do what you're doing uh in her life, and then like all the other cool accolades that she could achieve along the way, starting with this one. I mean, it's just so incredible, man. It's really, like you said, not everybody gets to have this experience. This is very, very special. So it really is incredible. It's also great for her own personal story and journey of like what she could do with it if she decided that's what she wants to do. So
Right.
that's incredibly cool.
And as she gets, a little older, she's finding her own music. So there's times that I'm having to go, okay, fine, I'll go put in for this. You know,
Yeah.
Last year, let's see, she wanted to do Wiz Khalifa, which we got approved for, but maybe I didn't read the email right. It was soundboard, which for those that don't know, so like if you're out at the amphitheater, you've been to the amphitheater,
Mm-hmm.
and you know where there's the soundboard that's kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a soundboard shoot, that's where you shoot from.
Okay. So it's not the best
And
vantage point.
yeah, it's not the photo pit, so we didn't come prepared. And they said, well, you guys can go ahead and stay. And I said, okay, fine, we'll stay. And I think we were there for about 2.5 songs, and I felt like I was living inside a bong, and we left. Um, and
Oh man.
then, like the previous year, now I know your daughter's, she's only 5, right?
Yes.
So she's probably not making these huge, big discoveries where she thinks she is, because Sydney had come in a few years ago, all excited about this big thing that she thought she unearthed. Oh, have you ever heard this song before, Daddy? And she hits play. It's Africa by Toto. And
Yes, I've heard that song about a bazillion times.
yeah, so then she saw they were coming to the amphitheater. So last year I got to go out and enjoy an evening of yacht rock with Toto, Men at Work, and Christopher Cross.
Awesome. That's
And
cool.
I still need to put in for it. She wants this year. She wants to go out there for MGK, which
Did
is
Oh,
first.
Machine Gun Kelly, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, that's I'm not a fan of his, but if I correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he like definitely endorsed by the Ozzy Osbourne? Is that the same guy that I'm thinking of?
I'm not sure. I know actually I've had a photo pass for him before. My Sydney's always surprised when she sees like she'll look through my photos and she's like, "Wait, you photographed this band?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," because
I
I think
think
eventually I hit a point to where it wasn't really. It's just kind of like a job, and also there's a point too where I just kind of turned it into a game. Like, hey,
okay.
let's see if I can get approved for this. So like Lizzo, I wouldn't put in for Lizzo, and it's like, okay, let's see if I can get approved for this. Oh, well, looks like I got a photo pass for Lizzo now.
All right, go for it. I mean, it's just fun times, right? So you don't have anything to lose, even if it's music. There's lots of times I've been to concerts. I went and saw the Average White Band perform once. I mean, come on now, that's not music I like at all, but it was cool. Um, but yeah, so I think Machine Gun Kelly. I Man, I really am gonna feel dumb if I'm getting this guy mixed up with somebody else, but I want to say that he was like at Ozzy's funeral and he had a really close connection with the Oz family.
I
Um,
think a young blood art because I don't even know. I'm
Maybe
just throwing
you're right. That is the guy I got mixed. Oh, damn it, son of a! I got it wrong. That's the guy. That's the guy. Okay, whoops. Forget everything I said about Machine Gun
it.
Kelly.
Well, there are
Whoops.
some. So like last year, I put in because nobody else had taken it for Oregon Music News, and I was like, okay, Hans Zimmer experience. I'll go ahead and do that. And actually, it was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Okay, nice. Yeah.
And then
So
another one was Billy Joel, which I actually had tickets for and got approved. Now, I guess also we had a rare moment where he actually brought a guitar out on stage, which he doesn't do that often.
okay, that's cool.
But I'm going into it thinking, why is he touring? He hasn't done anything new for like 2 decades. And then I realize as I'm there, I'm like, he doesn't need to do anything because he had a huge collection of hits from all these
Mm-hmm.
albums.
Mm-hmm.
And he did this really cool thing where he'd mention the album, he would give us a little bit of trivia off it. Like I didn't know his second album, his session bassist used to be Elvis's bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would name the big tracks, the big hits off it, and depending on how the audience responded, whatever got the bigger response would be the song that he would play. So it was kind of like a choose your own adventure of a set list.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, that's interesting.
The thing that I remember, I was listening to Adam Carolla's show. He has a podcast, and
Yep.
he always complains about how musicians are so lucky because every night they just get to play the same songs they've been playing for the last however many years. Whereas for a comedian, if they go up and say the same joke again, it's like, oh, not this again. I've heard that already,
Yeah.
which is true because I went and saw. Did you ever watch that show called That Metal Show with Jim Florentine, Don Jameson, and Eddie Trunk?
I don't think so. I know
Well,
the
they
name,
had
but I don't think I ever watched it.
it was on VH1, I want to say, and it was that metal show. It was just kind of like it had a kind of vibe to it that was, I wouldn't say similar to the Man Show, but it was a kind of a just dudes talking about heavy metal. They would do heavy metal
Right.
trivia. Eddie Trunk is just like this encyclopedia of music. So they would do stuff like that and have fun. They're comedians too. Eddie, not Eddie Trunk, but Don Jameson and Jim Florentine. So it was a good, fun, entertaining show. I actually got to see them do a live set for that metal show. The whole gang was there. And I had seen Jim Florentine do stand up before, but when he did it this night, it was all the same jokes. So
Oh,
I actually was like, oh man, this is kind of lame. I'm literally listening to the same set he did the last time I saw him. So it wasn't really that funny for me. So it doesn't work in comedy the same as music. You can't really do the same jokes the same
right.
way.
Well, and with music, because so sometimes I'll go and I'll look ahead of time to see what the set list is. Now, most of the time, whatever the set list is, it's going to be the same every night. And I wasn't going to put in for Rush because, Neil's gone. Okay, yeah, you're on tour, but it's not the same. And I keep reading reviews on how amazing it is. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I'm going to put in for the Seattle show, but I went and looked at some of the existing dates to see what the set list is. It's different every night.
Oh, cool. Cool. That's actually good. I like to hear that because that tells me the band really knows their music.
Well, the band, but you've got this new drummer now that,
Mm-hmm.
when I think about it too, I mean, there had to be a lot of pressure on her for that first show because this is Rush. And if you screw up that first night, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, Rush is a great band. My favorite of their the Priests of Xerinx, I think is called. Is the song "We Are the Priests of
Priest of
Xerinx"?
Priest of Syrinx from 2112, which
Yes,
on this tour, unless they change it, right now they have been playing 2112 in its entirety.
dude, that's awesome. That's a great album. I love that
Yeah, it
one.
is.
That's my personal favorite album of theirs. So, yeah. So okay, so man, I'm stoked for your daughter to get to have that experience with Dave Mustaine, the god of metal. And as we were
I
discussing,
thought Rob Halford was the god of metal.
well, Lemmy is also a god of. I mean, there's many gods
Yeah,
of
I mean,
metal.
we've
I
got a
mean,
few, don't we?
it's already set in stone that Lemmy is a god because it was in the movie Airheads. If you remember, Steve Buscemi
Oh
was
yeah,
like, I don't remember his trivia question, but it was like pop quiz,
yeah.
who's a better bass player or something like that, Lemmy or God or something. He's like, trick question, Lemmy is a god. So it's established. It's now reality. Lemmy is a god. Um, but I do think that Dave Mustaine is in the god tier level of heavy metal at this point, so it counts.
And
Um,
I can tell you because Dave gets a bad rap from a lot of people. Having met and talked with him now, and it was weird because I thought I was going to be the one that was nervous, and I was just like, okay, cool, it's Dave Mustaine. Having talked with he was really nice. In fact, when we were done, we were kind of outside, and David finished up and was going to the bus to change, and he saw us out there, so he came up and he talked with Sydney a little bit, and gave her a hug and stuff, and then he looked over at me and he goes, "All right, come here, Dad. You got to give me a hug too." And I'm just like, "Oh wait, weird. Dave Mustaine's wanting me to hug. Okay."
dude, that's incredible, man. Did he? But even though he has a certain type of personality that we've all come to love, I do wonder how much of the kind of, I don't know, the kind of I wonder how much of it is just played up for publicity. You know what I mean? Because obviously you have what the magazines and the tabloids are going to say, but then you also have the real person. And sometimes I think some of these types of stories about him have just been sort of ginned up in order to spark interest, controversy, get the stories rolled out for the sake of selling an album. I think a lot of it has to do with that too. So it's a lot of times it's just marketing. I wonder how much of that is in the mix.
I think some of that's true, but I think also, with any musician, I think they probably get inundated with the same questions so
Mm-hmm.
much when a fan meets them. And when I've met musicians, I try to not talk with them about music.
Yeah.
Unless I have an interview set up with someone, then obviously that's why, we're there to talk.
Right, right. The few times, because I'm not a musician and I don't know anything about making music at all, and so the times where I've met bands and hung out with them and talked with them, it's yeah. Usually, I just want to hear about their journey on the road, stories that they have to share, things that they've done that are fun and interesting and cool. But yeah, trying to talk shop with a musician when you're not a musician, that has got to be painful for the musician because the what are you going to ask, right? It's like asking a mathematician like what's 2 plus 2 equal, like yeah, 4. Can you break that down for me? It's like yeah, no.
The few interviews that I've done, and then when Ruben does interviews, which I should throw out, I have my site, which is We Go to 11, which hopefully most people know what that reference is from. You know what that reference is from, don't you?
No, I missed it.
We Go to 11?
Oh yes, I do. Spinal Tap, bro.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. Okay, yes, 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 I got it now.
But I try and find something outside um, the realm of music to ask about.
Hmm.
Like so, the way that whole thing started was I did an interview for KNAC with Joachim from Sabaton,
Okay.
and I know he's into pinball.
Okay, cool.
So the subject of pinball came up, and there was an extensive talk about pinball.
I will say, even though I don't know anything about pinball, for those who might be interested in Portland, at Ground Control, there is an autographed Elvira Mistress of the Dark pinball machine on display that can be used. So enjoy that, anybody who's into pinball and Elvira.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go, and I don't know that they have anything autographed, but okay, if you're downtown, yeah, ground control's cool, but I think it's better to make the trek out to Hillsboro and go to next level.
I don't think I've ever been there. I've been to
Oh,
Quarter World and Ground Control for like stuff like that.
okay, you need to come out sometime, and we'll go out to next level. You pay like $22 to get in all day. You can come and go as you please. The games are free, and they have over 600 pinball and retro arcade games.
Dang, all right. Dude, that's incredible. Wow, 600. Geez. On the note, you had mentioned the bassist of Elvis Presley, Cassandra Peterson, who performed as Elvira. She talks about in
Mhm.
her book that she got to hang out with the king of rock.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she apparently had a night with him when she was young, and it doesn't go very deep into the details. But I wonder. I'm like, okay, she had a very controversial lifestyle, man. She was a teenager and was a showgirl in Vegas, which she definitely should not have been doing that at that age, but it was a different time back then. So
Right.
what a wild story, man. She's got a very interesting biography. If you ever pick that up, it's a good one.
I
Um,
thought she lived in Portland or somewhere in Oregon.
uh, to my knowledge, she lives in California. I want to say she lives. She's super rich, so she may well have more than one property. But she she lives, I think, kind of close to. She lives in proximity with what's his name? Oh God, the actor who plays Pee Wee Herman, because they went to the same Groundlings school together. Gosh darn it! Now it's gonna really kill me that I can't remember Pee Wee Herman's real name.
And I
Um,
was correct because I just looked this up. Cassandra Peterson, best known as the horror icon Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, relocated to Portland, Oregon.
oh, excellent. Well then, I'm happy to hear that. That makes my Portland area much better now. Excellent.
And
Um,
Bruce Campbell also lives in Oregon,
Oh,
not
Bruce
Portland.
Campbell, the legend. Oh God, that guy's so epic, dude. I have only read one of his biographies. He was talking about his work on Evil Dead. He was explaining in the book. My memory of the book is a little foggy. It's been years since I read it, but I just remember him talking about how they were setting up for the movie, sleeping in the cabin that they were filming in. It was a particularly frigid winter in Tennessee, and
Yeah.
they had soaked themselves in fake blood, and so they hung up um, their wardrobe to dry during the night while they slept. And when they woke up in the morning, they were all stiff as boards, frozen solid from how cold it was. And that was the conditions that they had to film in, which is ironic because they went to Tennessee to avoid cold
Yeah.
temperatures like that. So, yeah, definitely a good story, man. Bruce Campbell's incredible. He's cool. Um, okay. Well, with that, I guess it's really cool that you get to do this and take so many awesome pictures. You are a in a certain sense a historian in the making.
Yeah.
Like you're there in these moments of people's lives that they're paying for an experience that you can only get at a heavy metal show. You're taking professional grade pictures of the events, and in some cases even
Now, professionals get paid.
uh, not always. Not always. Look, that's definitely the dream, right? Everybody. I
It is.
remember listening to a guitarist talk about doing the hardest thing in music, make money, and he pulls out a wad of cash. Like that's the hardest part of being
The hardest
an
part of
artist.
photography too.
Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're not getting the same quality of work, yeah, or better even.
Yeah, I think
But
that's one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that most of us, like, so I know a lot of photographers, but I only know one or two that actually make money and get
mhm.
paid. Most photographers that are there, are not making money unless it's a tour photographer.
Yeah, there's a guy who's frequently used in black metal. I think his name is Pete Lore. I want to say, is that his name?
Yeah,
Are
Pete
you?
lives here in Portland too.
Oh, and okay, so I did get his name right. Okay, good.
It's
I.
Pete Best, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
that's right. Thank you, thank you. It's not Pete Lore. It's Pete Best. You're absolutely right, and he is definitely somebody who is in the scene, and he helps do album cover stuff, and
Yeah, yeah, I see his stuff a lot.
yeah. And if that was the direction you could go in, would you consider that?
Yeah, and I've thought about that before because sometimes people are like, would you stick within the genre that you are comfortable with? And obviously, I've shot outside my genre. And when you think about it, if somebody got a hold of me and said, "Hey, we want you to do tour photography for Taylor Swift," you know what? I don't like her music, but do you know what that paycheck is going to be like?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I've heard the stories, man. Incredible.
So yeah, I'd be like, man, I may not care for the music, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah. But I mean, not only that, but it would definitely change because it's a different style of photography. We're talking about like if you were doing album art kind of stuff, you would have to figure out poses, scenery, lighting, getting everything right for the feel of what the album is trying to provoke,
And
right?
that's one thing. So I've tried to stress this to my daughter because she's asked, "Well, why do you get photo passes for bands that you don't like?" And I've tried to explain to her every band has a different approach musically and as far as things on the stage.
Hmm.
A hip hop show is going to have different aesthetics than what a country show is compared to a metal show.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a whole other avenue, different art style. Even though it's in the same line of art, it's a completely different breed of cat in a certain sense, just because of there's, like you said, so many different feels to the type of pictures that you're taking. But gosh, his name is escaping me at the moment. I know that for a while, Pustulus Maximus, he was in Cannabis Corpse before Guar. He actually used one of your pictures as his Facebook banner for the longest
Yeah.
time. It may still well be there. I don't know, but
In
I.
fact, so his name is Brent.
Oh, Brent, that's right, Brent.
Be-
Gosh, I can't. I know Brent. It's gonna kill me. I should know because Guar is like my favorite band, but.
Well, he had messaged me a few years ago and asked if I had any live shots where you could see I think he was sponsored by Fender, maybe. Anyway, he was looking for stuff where you could visibly see the logo on his amp, and I'm like, dude, you guys cover your amps all the time. I don't have anything where you can actually see the logo. And
Mm-hmm.
I hunted through every photo, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everything's covered, so I couldn't really give him anything.
Yeah, I know recently he was doing stuff with the lead singer of Six Feet Under, Christopher Barnes, I think his name is, and I want to say that they even helped each other make an album for 6 Feet Under. I think because I remember hearing in the news that the guys from Cannabis Corpse was helping with an album with 6 Feet Under, and that album, even though I don't like a lot of 6 Feet Under's music, that album was actually probably one of their better albums. I want to say
Well,
it
he
came
does
out
have a
like
new
2015.
project and a new album coming out called U.S. Bastards,
Okay, it's always
which is
a different
more
band.
punk.
Oh, cool. All right, that's interesting. By the way, did you ever get into punk rock?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
In fact,
mean,
I had a lot of friends that I got into punk because they had one opinion of what it was like. I'm like, no, you're not listening to the right stuff.
yeah, for me, I like punk rock kind of as a supplement to heavy metal. I mean, some punk rock I like. Some of it is like I like X-Ray Specs, which is a different kind of punk rock. I feel like it's that British new wave stuff, and Casualties, just because it's really heavy. I just like heavy stuff, but I never
I
got
think
into punk rock because I
I
found
like
it
some
to
of the old
be.
school. I'm more old school, I think. I had Sydney join me year before last. Well, actually, the
Mhm.
last 2 years running for Punk in the Park, and like my main reason for going the year that we went was the Subhumans were playing.
Oh, cool, man, that's awesome.
And then I had her last year in October. She was in the pit with me for the Circle Jerks.
Oh, and Poison Idea is a sort of punk rock band from Portland, Oregon.
Yeah,
They're pretty huge,
yeah.
so that's killer. Um, well, I guess with that said, is there any link that you would like to share with the audience on your work? Anything you would share with anybody that you might have on hand, or something?
Um,
Do you have any links I could put in the description box below for people to find you?
I would just go to we go to 11.org, which
Mm-hmm.
I try and keep photos updated, but also since I maintain the website, there are weeks where there's a whole lot of news to post. And if anybody thinks, oh, it's easy to run a music site for news, no, it's not, because I've got to make sure. Sometimes I look and I start doing a press, posting a piece of press, and then I go and I listen to the song. And I'm like, oh, this is not even remotely close to what would work on our site.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Then I've got to resize images. I've got to make sure hyperlinks work. So there's a whole lot to it. And, there's some nights I come home from work and maybe I have an hour worth of work to do. And there's other nights I come home and I'm basically working on stuff from the time I get home to the time I go to bed.
yeah, yeah. Man, yeah, that's a lot, but obviously you
It
have a
is.
drive and you have a love of this music
Yeah.
and you're a essential part of the scene here in Portland, Oregon. People have very likely seen you at concerts and maybe they don't know who you are, but at least, now they know
Well,
where they can find your work.
I know. So my daughter has like her own little like fan section.
Oh, that's awesome, man. No, I'm telling
It's
you, man,
it's
she's got a great springboard right now to bounce into this as a professional if she wanted to go that direction. I mean, it's incredible what she's accomplished already at such a young age.
Yeah, I think so. I figured it out here a few weeks ago. I think she has shot. I want to say it's been 55 shows so far.
Oh man, that's incredible. That's awesome. That's it. That's going to be cool. Pretty soon she's going to overpass you at, at a certain point. You'll have
That's
to
gonna
retire.
that's gonna that is gonna take her a while.
Well, one day you're going to have to hang up your hat, man, and put the camera down. I don't think you're going to be able to do it forever, right?
You know what? We'll see, because it's kind of like an addiction, to an extent.
Okay, okay. That's what
You know,
gives
but
that's
I've had, aside from Megadeth, I mean, I've had her in the pit for some pretty. She's shot Arch Enemy a couple times. She shot Nita Strauss. Bloodywood finally, because she likes Bloodywood.
Dude,
Um,
Arch Enemy, are you going to be able to see them when they come back through Portland with their new lead singer? Looking forward to
yeah,
that.
there's no Portland date for that
I
tour,
know, I know. But I
and
mean, they're sure to come around sometime.
yeah, they will. Oh, hey, you know what? I just thought of this. Sorry, we're at the end of it, but it just popped. You were talking about photo moments, and I'm surprised neither of us even thought of this because we were both there together
What's that?
before they blew up huge. Ghost, Silver Platters, and
Oh, yes, dude, that was incredible, man. And it was before they blew up huge, but I have
yeah,
been saying for so long, man, it feels so good. This is one of the reasons why I argue with elitists and gatekeepers about trying to keep heavy metal underground to a certain, like, and I get it. I get it. I know. It's special. But I know that normies ruin things. I know that. I know. But it's okay to share a great experience. Because, first of all, I had been following Ghosts since the first time they came to Portland, Oregon. I was at their show at the first show they did was
Hawthorne.
at Hawthorne Theater,
Yeah,
and I didn't know anything about the band, and the crowd was mixed. And at the time, I was doing my original metal channel, and so I was asking randos in the crowd, like, "What do you think of the lineup tonight? Do you know anything about this band, Ghost?" Dude, a lot of people said they either didn't know who they were or they didn't like them, and only a few people said they liked Ghost. So I was expecting it to be a weird band, a shitty band, not cool. But when I watched them perform, dude, I was like, this is fucking awesome, man. This band kills. This is cool. And so, the band has definitely changed a lot since their first album.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
but a huge complaint that the elitists and gatekeepers had was like they wanted to keep them underground and keep that sound where it was at until they changed and became what they are today. But the reason why I feel vindicated is because it was at their second album when that one came out is when I started really sharing it with friends, trying to tell them, like, you guys just trust me when I say this. This band, I know you know Slipknot. I know you don't know metal or know a lot about metal, but I know you at least know who Slipknot is. This band is on its way to becoming a band that you will know, like Slipknot. And so right now is the perfect time to get on board this train, because you're going to be seeing stuff that in the future, this band's going to blow up so huge. You will get to have experiences with this band that you won't get to. People will envy you so much that you are seeing this live in the flesh. And so I saw them every time they came to Portland. Um,
Yep.
and they, like, you and I went to Silver Platters, and we got to shake the band's hand, and that was their original lineup before the band broke up
Yeah.
and reassembled with new
And this
members.
was that. So I remember that press release, and there was only it was that little acoustic tour. There were only 5 dates. I hadn't even looked at the press release yet. I'm like, there's no way anything. There's even going to be remotely close to here. I scroll down. First date, Seattle. And I'm like, oh god. And the only person that I knew that knew who Ghost was you. And I was
Yes,
like, all right, you want to
it
make a road
pays
trip to
off.
Seattle?
Yes, indeed. Count me in, dude. And it was a hot day that day, dude. I did
Yeah,
not
it
envy
was.
the musicians
Yeah.
at all. I couldn't imagine having to wear those masks in that room. Holy shit, it was so hot, man. They must have been sweating bullets under there.
And you know that video is on YouTube, right?
Yes, yes. I'm. You and I are
Whole thing.
standing like right front row.
Yeah, we're the
I'm
very
standing like
front.
3 feet away from the band, dude. You could reach out and shake their hand right
Yeah.
there. It's incredible. Now they're untouchable. You can't get anywhere
Yeah.
close to them. So yeah, like it's incredible that we got to have that experience. That is so cool. And now the band is super mega huge, beyond anything I ever imagined. They're, in my opinion,
Yeah,
I think they're
I
bigger than
didn't think it would get
Slipknot.
to where it's at.
Yeah, they're huge now. Um, and I still think their sound is good. I still like their sound, even though it's changed a lot. But, you go back to their original albums if you want that kind of feel, and you can check out their new stuff for their new sound too. I like it all. But like I say, like, I just feel like I have a grudge against the gatekeepers for trying to stifle the geniusness of great music, man. I want bands like this to be huge. I want everybody to know the good stuff, you know. And it's a great entry for people who don't know a lot about heavy metal. You listen to a band like this, maybe you like this sound, you might try a new band and try it out that way. Just like how you started with the hair metal and found your way getting into the heavier stuff. That's how it
Right.
goes. That's how it goes. So, yeah. Um, but definitely a lot of normies. There's definitely a lot of normies listening to Ghost, and they
Yeah.
don't know anything about metal or appreciate it at all. But that's okay. Um, I actually almost feel bad for them because if a normie talks to me about Ghost, then I could just go off on them, and then oh shit, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have talked about Ghost. But all right, man. Well, thanks for having this interview with me tonight, dude. I
Yeah.
really
Thanks for.
appreciate it. And I want to make sure I get this right. It's called wegoto11.org.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so everybody click the links, check out his work, and also remember to like and subscribe to this channel if you like what you see here today. And again, please remember to buy concert tickets, go to see the local bands perform in the flesh. This is how Portland gets on the map as a metal city. I want Portland to become the metal hub, you know, like a Richmond, Virginia type of place, you know. So
And
it's already
shows
starting.
the main shows lately has sucked too.
Well, dude, it's getting harder and harder to get tickets, dude. The prices are getting insane.
This sounds like another conversation we need to have for another a follow up.
Absolutely. We will we should definitely have a follow-up. That would be great. Well, dude, I'll let you go for now. Have yourself a good
All
rest of
right.
your night and take care. I'll see you around, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.